The Indian attitude to the land here, before all the invaders came, including my ancestors, the Indian attitude to the land was probably complex, but there was one element of it that shines through in some of the early accounts, and that is, the entire region is useful as is. I want to explain why and how that was possible. We need to start off with a couple of basic premises, which we may know intellectually, but emotionally it's going to be harder to grasp. At times it is even for me now. Indians were rational people. They did things for reasons. They didn't do things to be exotic. They were rational people who observed, who memorized what they observed, and then used it well. And in my studies in the last 4 decades, I've come to appreciate deeply just how much is involved. I think the women in particular had minds like computers, and the men weren't far behind. I'm not being sexist, I'm being factual. The men had... I'm supposed to talk about the land, remember? The men had to know their territory too, but not the same species, not as many species, and they had to learn animal behavior, and what they brought into the family food budget was based upon that. It wasn't a matter of memorizing plants like a modern botanist. So if the men were behind, it's only in a relative sense, and it's not meant to be sexist. Division of labor, remember? All right. These were people living in a world where there were no draft animals. These aren't much use for that. Neither are deer or elk. You can tame them, but you can't domesticate them worth a flip. And if you haven't got domesticated animals, you're not going to have wheeled vehicles. There's no reason for them. And also, for regional reasons, they had no iron tools, much less steel ones. No wheeled transport. Instead, if you wanted to haul a lot of people for a lot of distance, you had to use canoes, and the canoes being log dugouts, not birch bark. That's much farther north where you actually get the right kind of birch. These were very heavy canoes, and it meant a lot of hard work.